Hey babe, I need you to give me 5 uninterrupted minutes, 5 quiet minutes where you can lean back, silence the pings on your phone, breathe slowly, and let my words flow into the space between us. I promise I'm not asking for anything else in this moment. Your presence, just your attentive, open presence, is more than enough. Because what I'm about to share isn't light, casual, or disposable. It has weight, shape, and consequences. And it's been pressing so hard on my chest that every inhale feels constrained. Tonight, instead of tightening my grip on these emotions, I'm opening my hands and letting the truth cascade out, whatever shape it chooses to take, whatever tremor it might send through our lives. For weeks, actually, if I'm being fully honest, for months, I've carried a storm inside my head. It gathered slow as evening clouds. First, a fleeting thought, a glance too long, a spark of interest I pretended not to notice. I convinced myself I could stamp it out with logic, that if I labeled it irrational, it would retreat. Yet with each new day, I'd catch myself replaying a moment we shared, a laugh that escaped you at an unexpected joke, the way your eyes soften when you talk about music you love, the tilt of your head when you're listening deeply. Those flashes should have dissolved. Instead, they stitched themselves into a private reel I kept revisiting when everything else felt noisy or gray. Each return to that reel made the colors brighter, the soundtrack louder, the emotions more dangerous. And that's the root of my conflict, the jagged stone I keep tripping over. I am not a free agent in this story. There is a third heart in the room, even if they can't hear these words, even if they're unaware of the tension mapped across my pulse. I value loyalty, honesty, and decency. Betrayal is a big, trembling word, one I never wanted to feel vibrating inside my vocabulary. Yet every day I push these thoughts down. The gravity of what I'm denying grows heavier. It's a paradox. I stay silent to protect everyone involved, but the silence itself becomes its own small, slow betrayal of myself, of you, and yes, of that third soul I don't wish to wound. I've cycled through every internal debate imaginable, late night reasoning sessions where I bargain with my conscience like a tired lawyer. If I just stay busy, I'll stop thinking about them. If I throw myself into work, the longing will ebb. If I remind myself of every possible fallout, the urge to reach out will shrink. Night after night, those rational sounding strategies crumble the second your name lights up my screen. The instant I imagine your voice wrapping around a simple, "How was your day?" reason loses to resonance. The heart wants what it wants. Yes, that's glitch. But glitches exist because they point to something repeatedly true. Still, wanting alone is not enough to justify action. So I kept attempting the impossible. I tried to banish the feeling so thoroughly it could never surface again. I launched into morning jogs that left my lungs burning, hoping sweat could exorcise affection. I scribbled in journals until my wrist ached, hoping that pages could soak up desire the way blotting paper soaks up ink. I meditated, distracted myself with movies, orchestrated group hangouts where the safe buffer of friends might dull the edge of my attraction. Each tactic worked for a moment, a day at best. Then some quiet pocket of unsupervised thought opened, and there you were, vivid and present, gentle smile curling upward like a question I hadn't answered yet. So here I am, exhausted from running circles around a truth that refuses to disappear. I'm done balling it up, done pretending it's temporary or trivial. I need you to know, plainly and without euphemism, that I am drawn to you in a way that is bigger than curiosity, deeper than infatuation, and yes, steeped in longing for intimate closeness. When I say intimate, I don't reduce it to a single physical act. I mean the whole spectrum. Whispered confidences at 2 a.m., fingertips brushing because neither of us wants to pull away, the slow dance of breath shared in darkness where vulnerability becomes its own language. I mean emotional nakedness first, the fearless laying out of hidden fractures and secret joys, and then whatever physical expression might naturally flow from that sacred honesty. But I also need you to understand the magnitude of what this admission cost me. By speaking it, I acknowledge that if we ever choose to explore this connection, someone else's trust could fracture. I hate that possibility with every fiber of my moral compass. And yet silence was becoming a different kind of harm, a quiet corrosion that was making me impatient, short-tempered, restless, and ultimately less present for everyone, including the person I might be betraying. Transparency may hurt, but it at least allows genuine choices to unfold. Secrets simply handcuff our freedom while pretending to be protected. You might be wondering why the feeling is so persistent. I've asked myself that too. The simplest answer is chemistry, a word scientists use for reactions that can't be undone once the right elements touch. But chemistry doesn't explain the emotional undertow, the sense of being seen when you hold eye contact a beat longer than politeness demands. It doesn't explain the way your stories linger in my mind like half-remembered melodies, or the way my pulse changes when I hear your name in an unrelated conversation. There is an ease in our dialogue I haven't experienced in years. A sense that silence between us isn't awkward but restful, like a shoreline where waves can collapse safely after miles of turbulence. That ease feels rare and precious. It feels worth paying attention to, even if the timing is spectacularly inconvenient. Please believe me when I say this isn't about collecting thrills or chasing novelty. I'm not bored. I'm not looking for an escape hatch from current responsibilities. I respect the sacredness of commitment, and I would never cheapen that foundation just to satisfy a fleeting urge. If what I felt for you were only surface level attraction, the kind that flickers for a weekend and dies with Monday's sunrise, I'd keep my mouth shut. I'd let the spark extinguish itself and avoid adding more chaos to an already complicated world. What pulls me toward you is thicker than adrenaline. It's laced with tenderness, curiosity, admiration, and that strange recognition two souls sometimes experience, as if they bumped into each other in some prior existence and promised to meet again. That said, acknowledging depth doesn't negate danger. Acting on this connection too quickly or without the clarity of honest dialogue could plant bitterness where love was meant to bloom. I don't want us to be a story steeped in regret, two people who followed impulse and woke up to ashes. If we ever decide to step forward, I want the ground beneath us to be solid, not made of broken trust. That might require difficult conversations with every person impacted. It might require patience, an inconvenient amount of patience, while we untangle prior commitments respectfully. I am willing to shoulder that work if, and only if, you feel a similar tug, a similar reverence for what could be. Yet I also need to prepare myself for the possibility that you don't feel this, or that you feel it but choose not to pursue it, or that circumstances render it simply impossible. If that's the case, I will grieve quietly and do my best to redirect this energy into something constructive. I'll respect your boundaries without attempting to persuade, guilt, or cajole. I'm sharing this not to corner you, but because the truth deserves daylight and because you deserve transparency. Whatever you choose, I will honor it. I imagine you reading this with your brows knit, maybe your heart pounding, maybe your thoughts ping-ponging between could this work? And oh no, what about? If so, please pause here, close your eyes, and notice your very first instinctive feeling. That primal whisper, before practicality screams its objections, might be the purest compass you have. I'm not implying we should ignore practicalities. We will definitely need to address them. But acknowledging raw instinct lets us differentiate between genuine desire and momentary confusion. If your instinct says no, a firm, unequivocal no, I want you to feel empowered to voice that boundary. I will swallow the disappointment, process it with maturity, and keep honoring the friendship we've built if you'll allow it. If your instinct says maybe, then perhaps we give this conversation more space, maybe in person, perhaps in a setting where we can study each other's eyes and gauge honesty without the safe shield of screens. And if your instinct quietly but firmly says yes, then we start mapping out a responsible path forward, one that makes room for truth, compassion, and the dignity of every heart involved. You deserve to know that I'm prepared to do the heavy lifting that comes with my confession. It's not enough to simply want. I must demonstrate respect through action. That means not pressuring you for instant decisions. That means safeguarding your privacy and mine. That means communicating clearly with the third party sooner rather than later if this path unfolds, even if the conversation is excruciating, because lingering deception helps no one. It also means we check in with ourselves regularly, ensuring that what we build is rooted in mutual respect rather than escape or fantasy. I realize you may need time, hours, days, maybe weeks, to sit with this revelation. Take every moment you require. Silence on your end does not equate to dismissal. It can simply be the chrysalis where an answer forms. If anxiety flares because I haven't heard back, I'll remind myself that patience is an act of love. And if questions bubble up for you, concerns, hesitations, logistical puzzles, I'm here for all of them. Let's unpack every angle without sugarcoating. Let's hold our fears up to the light so they shrink from shadow monsters into manageable shapes. Before I close, I want to acknowledge your right to protect your heart. You might worry that exploring this would leave you hurt if things collapse. Vulnerability always carries that risk. But I believe the greater risk is living half lives, muffling our own truths until they atrophy. My hope, my audacious, maybe naive hope, is that honesty can birth something beautiful, whether that beauty is a deepened friendship, a tender love story, or a peaceful clarity that we are better as trusted confidence and nothing more. Any of those outcomes feels more authentic than quietly drowning in unspoken feelings. So, babe, this is me, standing here, tremoring a little, palms open, voice unsteady, handing you my unfiltered heart. I won't claim that writing these 2,000 or so words has wiped away all fear. It hasn't. But I feel lighter, steadier, truer. The weight I've shifted onto this page is real, and now I'm offering it to you as a shared responsibility. Do with it what aligns with your truth. If that truth brings us closer, I will cherish every breath of that journey. If that truth guides us to maintain a tender distance, I will honor the boundary without bitterness, grateful for your honesty. Thank you for giving me these minutes, for receiving these words with whatever grace you can summon. I'm here, ready to listen, ready to learn your heart in return, ready to face whatever future our combined honesty shapes. Always, your name.